Get access to exclusive tutorials and take your paracord weaving to the next level by supporting this channel on Patreon. Hey, what's up guys? Tim here again. In today's video, we're learning how to make a paracord globe knot Christmas ornament. Still got a little bit of time in this Christmas season to decorate the tree, so let's get into it. So to start off, we're going to take our first two strands of paracord and we're going to wrap them 4 times around our fingers. I'm wrapping 4 loops away from me around 2 of my fingers, my index and my middle. I'm going to move those loops over a bit just so that they're sitting nice and securely on my fingers. And essentially we're going to start tying a globe knot, but with 2 strands at a time. So if you've tied the tiny globe knot, this is the same process, but we're doing 2 strands at a time and wrapped around 2 fingers. So now working with the right side strands, I'm gonna kind of line them up and I'm gonna go over the first loop, under the second one, and then over the last one. Okay, so you can use a fid if it makes it easier, or you can do 1 strand at a time if it makes it easier. But you'll see I use a couple different methods throughout this process. So yeah, go over, under, over, and bring a majority of that cord from the right side to the left. And again, you want to just leave a little bit sitting over the first loop. So don't pull it all the way through. You want your cords sitting just like mine here. So now that we've got that first part done, we're going to do the same thing with the left side cords, and we're going to go back. So I'm just going to use a fid to show you the path here. So you want to go exactly like this, okay? So we're going to go over the first 2 strands, under the second one, over the next 2, under the last one, and over the last 2 cords there. So, you know, again, it's just that same basket weave kind of principle. Yeah. So again, it's just that kind of same basket weave principle. You want to do the kind of opposite of what you have above you. All right, so we've got the first 2 or 4, I guess you can call it 4 strands set up. And now we're going to continue by taking the right side and we're going to follow the strands on top. So see that red and the white? We're going to go do the exact same thing up top. Also, something you can pay attention to is the order in which my colors are sitting. So try to match them because that will make a difference when you start to tighten up that knot. But again, what I'm doing up here is I'm just matching the 2 strands, and I'm going to follow that first path and have the strands sitting right next to them, like so. And now again, I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to use my fid again just to show you that path. So take the 2 strands on the left this time, and we're going to follow that same path and have the cords sitting all together. It can be a little difficult doing 2 strands at once, so don't feel the need to fumble around like I am with 2 strands. You could just do 1 strand at a time, but just when you do 1 strand at a time, just make sure that the strands sit properly. Okay, so got that globe knot kind of starting to form up. We've got strands coming out the top and we've got strands coming out the bottom. Now you can see I'm starting to separate my 4 strands that are lined up. So I made a space in between the top 4, and now you're going to go under, over, under, and over this path right here. So I'm kind of going in between those 4 strands. I separated them 2 and 2. Again, if you haven't tied a globe knot before, I would suggest tying the single strand globe knot just to get an idea of how it works, because it does make it a lot easier. So here you can see I'm just doing 1 strand at a time, and that kind of does make things a lot easier. You don't have to tie 2 strands at once, but it's entirely up to you how you want to do this one. So get that cord out to the left side and don't pull it too hard. Remember, you want that little bit. See how there's a loop sitting right where my index and middle finger are. You want to have that loop right there. You don't want it too small. Okay, so we've got the cords coming out the top now, and for those 2 cords behind, bring that over top, those 2 strands up there. And now we're going to go in between these 2 sets of cords here. So we're going to start by going, we're going to be going through this path here, which I'm going to again show you with my fid. And that includes that loop right there. Okay. And so for this part, I'm actually going to end up using my fid just to make it a bit easier. And again, you know, you can use a fid for the whole process if you want. I just want to give you guys options on how you want to tie this. So I go under that first 2 sets of cords, over the next 2, under, over the next one, under the second last, and then you want to end up coming out over the last 2 cords. Okay. So get those cords sitting pretty like that. And I'm going to take the fid off the red cord. I'm going to move it back to the Strawberry Fields cord. So again, follow that same path. And if you just imagine that, you know, your 2 cords are just 1 cord, that's the easiest way. You know, try tying the single globe knot first, and then you can do the double. All right, so ending out that cord on top, the same as the red. So we're almost done tying this globe knot. So we're almost done tying up the first part of this globe knot with those 2 ending strands on the right. Now you're going to turn your whole assembly kind of upwards, and you're going to see this last gap here. Take the 2 strands on the right. We're going to go back from the right to the left. We're going to go under the first 2 cords, over the next 2, under the 3rd set, and then over the last 2. So you want to end up on this path here, as I'm showing you with the fid. Okay, and then pull that bit of cord through. And when you look at your kind of whole assembly here, you should have those kind of 4 cords crossing over up top, and you should have something what looks like this. So now we can start cinching up and taking up the slack in the knot. I'm using this on my thumb here just to get, you just want to get the entire thing a bit smaller before you put in the styrofoam ball. And that will make kind of tightening everything a bit easier, at least in my opinion. So just get that entire thing a bit smaller. You don't have to cinch it up fully tight just yet, but as long as it's big enough to get the styrofoam ball in that little pocket, that's good enough. Now we're going to insert that styrofoam ball right into the middle there. And now we're going to finish tightening everything up. Again, you don't have to tighten it all the way because we will have to incorporate a 3rd strand. The 2 strands are not enough to cover the entire surface of this styrofoam ball, and we will be adding that 3rd strand. So just continue taking up the slack and work it out of the knot itself. And when your ball ends up looking something like this, pretty much most of the slack is out, but it's still not you know, super tight. That's fine. We still have enough space for 1 more strand, and we're going to do that right now. So now with my 3rd color on a fid, all I'm going to do is follow the path starting from one side, and you're just going to follow the path of those 2 cords. I'm going right in between my my 2 kind of different colors here. I think the green looks good in the middle, but you don't have to do that. You can go on one side, whatever works for you. But it's super easy at this point. Just start where your one end of strands start on the globe knot and just follow that same path. And I'm just going to make sure my cords are even on both sides. But again, super easy this step, and a whole lot of fun actually. You just, take that fid and follow those strands. And I'm just going in between the red and the Strawberry Fields color. So just do that from one end, pull all the excess through, And yep, just keep going until you reach the other side. So once you come out on the other side, you have 3 cords on one side and 3 on the other. Just double check your work and make sure you didn't miss any areas. But you should have now the globe knot that has 3 colors all through it. Now to end it off, we're going to tie a 6-strand foot rope knot. So I'm going to start with on one side, and I'm putting a bend in that first cord. Take the next cord and do another bend over top of it, and continue that process all around. Okay, so again, I'm bending it over the previous cord. Okay, this can be a little tricky with 6 strands, but overall it's pretty easy knot to tie. So yeah, bend it over the previous cord like so. I'm going to do the green one next. So take that green and bend it over the red like so. And for the very last one, I'm taking that Strawberry Fields one, I'm bending it over the green, and I'm passing it right underneath the next Strawberry Fields, because it has to be one continuous kind of loop. So right through there, as you can see. All right, so now we've got that. So that's the first step. And try to cinch everything just a little bit smaller so it's not too loose. And now from here, to complete that knot, you can start with whichever cord you want. I've got this first one in front of me. I want to go underneath that where the next 2 cords cross over, and then bring it through the middle like so. So see the green? See how those 2 reds are crossing over? Go underneath and now up through the middle. Okay, very easy. You just do that all the way around. So now for this red cord behind where the red and green are crossing over, up through the middle. You just continue that process until all the cords are coming up through the middle of that knot. It can get a little difficult to keep track, but yeah, just pay attention to what you're doing and just go from one cord after the other. So now with all the cords coming out the top and the middle there, we can start to cinch up that foot rope knot. I believe that's the correct name for it. So now it's a little bit too high up. I want that foot rope knot sitting right above my ornament. So as you cinch this up, you don't need to make it too small just yet. Get a majority of the cord through. But now I want to just pull the excess out and bring it up to the top. And I want to get that knot all the way to the very bottom, sitting right on top of my globe knot ornament. So once that is pretty much done, the next step, we will start cutting off the excess cords. My camera cut off for a bit, but I took off those 2 green cords. So yeah, we can just snip and melt those green cords off, and I'm taking off the one of the Strawberry Fields cords, and I'm gonna clip off that red. So I just want 2 cords sitting, kind of sitting across from each other, and the rest of them, I'm just going to melt them down a little bit and press down on them with my knotter's tool, because I want 2 cords across from each other to make it nice and balanced for when I tie our scaffold knot. So I'm going to take my Strawberry Fields, I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to wrap it around all the cords, including the red, twice, and then I'm going to bring that end of the paracord back through those 2 loops. And that is going to make our loop for where we're going to hang the ornament. So now I'm just going to clip off the excess red, melt that a little bit, press down, And same thing with the excess Strawberry Fields color. All right, there we have it, guys. We are finished. There is our globe knot Christmas ornament, or it's also a way to tie the 3-pass globe knot. And remember, guys, I do run a Patreon page to keep this channel going. So if you do want access to exclusive tutorials and you know, reap the benefits as well as help this channel out at the same time, feel free to consider supporting this channel on Patreon. Link is in the video as well as the description box down below. A huge thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Hope you guys are enjoying these videos, and I will see you on the next one.